Hello, everyone. This is Justin again, back with my updated reviews. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to update a lot of my movie reviews with movies coming out lately because I've been busy with a lot of stuff going on. So I apologize if you haven't seen me on camera in a while. I was supposed to do this review last week with my friend Eddie, but unfortunately, some personal things came up, and so now I'm just going to have to go solo this time. I went and seen the film Sicario last weekend, or last Thursday actually, and I was looking for this movie for a while, and I know the movie is not really out in theaters anymore, so I apologize. This review is coming in a little late. I'm trying as much as I can to get these reviews back in order as soon as other films have been coming out. It's just that there have been a lot of budget issues I've been having, and trying to have some issues with money with trying to go see movies. But I promise I'm going to do whatever it takes to make sure I keep my reviews on track. But here's my thoughts on Sicario. Now, I've been looking for this movie a while because Eddie was actually the one that got me into this movie to begin with, because I watched a trailer quite a while ago, some months back, and he really got me interested because this plot goes where Emily Blunt plays this FBI agent who has been on the task force for not so long, and she goes through a lot of the problems that most recruits go through every day when they're in the tough situation where they have to work with areas they're not too sure about, and having that very claustrophobic and also very scared reactions when they're seeing deaths in front of them. So this film really takes a lot of risk with trying to make things very organized with how this team works, with how this organization works. Basically, the plot goes is that Emily Blunt plays an FBI agent who, along with her task force, are sent along with Benicio del Toro, who plays a pretty much, well, I don't want to spoil who it is, but he works for an unknown organization that you'll find out later in the film. And they also work with Josh Brolin, who's the head of the FBI team or FBI task force that they're sent in to take down this cartel that's across the borders in Juarez, Mexico. So their plan is to go in and capture one of their guys, and then to get them information to lead to the bigger guys that are eventually holding this entire. Well, I'm not gonna go from there, but you know what I mean. It's pretty much, if you've seen movies like Sabotage or Traffic, it deals a lot with drug trafficking, a lot of problems with the cartel nowadays that we usually deal with. And I think the movie does a pretty good job, actually a wonderful job, showing that gritty style that we see in a lot of films like that. You see a lot of carnage happen in the streets. Now I can't be familiar of how big this is as far as realism when they show these certain scenes, because there are scenes where they're literally going down the street and you see bodies hanging down on these different, what do you call it? I'm sorry, I'm not speaking too well. You see these bodies hanging up on these bridges and everything, and it's very unsettling, And plus, the very beginning of the film, when they go in to go after these one guys in Mexico that are taking down these drug in these looks like these crack houses. They find a whole wall full of bodies that are just laying there that are just standing there for quite some time. The movie is pretty brutal. It has a lot of carnage that's happening. It has a lot of violence that's pretty grotesque. And I mean, movies like this don't hardly come out in the theaters that much, that you don't see, because they have a lot of hard time getting released because of the MPAA and because of the subject matter that they do. But man, this movie really feels intense when you watch a lot of the scenes that happen where people get shot, when people are when you're seeing the reactions of people, because much like it would be in real life, if you're on a task force and it's kind of your first day, you see people's reactions when they're throwing up and they're very too grossed out with all the shit that's happening. So this movie really has a great structure for that. But I also love the performances too. I thought seeing Benicio del Toro in this kind of role again, after playing in Traffic and being, that typical Benicio del Toro where he's a badass, man, he really nailed it out of the park, because there's a lot of mystery surrounding his character that I won't give away. But as the movie goes on, you really start to wonder what else he's going to do, because every time that he would do something, it's unexpected. Plus, also like Emily Blunt, I actually think that she's a fine actress, and she's very well deserved and well acted in a lot of her films. And this one, she's very stern, so to speak. I mean, there's not really a lot of focus on her a whole lot much. Probably toward the end, not to spoil anything, but whenever she's on screen, she really feels like certain people would in that kind of role where they get scared, they show a lot of emotion towards what's happening, and she has that very, I'm not really sure how to describe it. She's very key. She's very subtle, is what I'll say. But she does a wonderful job, and you really feel the emotions that she goes through every time she's having to go, because she's really not too sure about the stuff that's going on with the task force. Because as the movie progresses, you do kind of start to realize, okay, are we going to be following these guys, or are we going to following the other guys? Because every now and then it'll cut back to this kind of character who's a cop working in Mexico, and you're really not too sure what this character is doing, because as the movie goes on, we cut back to him and his family eating dinner or breakfast and everything, and you're starting to wonder, like, why do they keep focusing on this guy so much? That did kind of throw me out at first, but then as the movie went on, I did start to realize what they were doing, what the director was going for, because this was a director who also directed Prisoners, and another really well done movie that I loved, and put that as one of the best movies of the year. And I really love this director's talent, because I think that he can make a great looking movie. Because when I watch this film on the big screen, you really get that scope. You really have a lot of great shots where it shows the desert, the mountains, and from what I heard is that the director actually had a cinematographer who actually shot scenes at night where it actually looks like pitch black. And plus, visually, it also has a part where that's pretty cool, where they're going in this tunnel, and it shows like these weird night vision. It's this night vision scene that's really well done. I really think that for this year, this is probably one of the best visual looking movies that I've seen this year. And I also enjoy the music. Every time I would hear them getting to another scene where it's getting very intense, that music has that kind of weird feeling where it's like a snake crawling up you and everything, metaphorically speaking. It really puts you in the right mindset, and it gives you like a disoriented kind of mood. So I really enjoyed that. Now, if there's any kind of issues I do kind of the film is that the pacing is a little slow. It does have a lot of build up to what's going on, and you're kind of wondering what it's going to lead to next. Because I think the trailers kind of mislead a lot of what was happening, because the trailers make it kind of believe it's supposed to be like this big hardcore action gritty cop drama, and really it's not. It's more of a character study about these three people, well, mainly two of them at least. And you really feel them as they go, you feel their prowess as they go along with the film. And to me it works as in that regard, because I think it works in that as a character study. Because I mean, a lot of people are kind of would probably not like the film because they're not really into the whole very dialogue scenes and the way it's plotted out and everything. I can see a lot of people not liking that in a lot of ways. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm sure there's probably purists out there that think that the stuff they do in the actual movie is not what they would actually do in real life, so to speak. But I don't know. I don't really think of stuff like that. As a movie overall, I really enjoyed this film. I really loved this film a lot. I thought that it was really well made. It's well acted from all three characters, especially Josh Brolin too. He plays this very kind of laid back role where he's the guy who's working with Emily Blunt and Del Toro, and his whole thing, his one of his shticks is that he doesn't like to wear shoes all the time, so he wears sandals, and he's always constantly chewing gum and kind of being a smartass to a lot of his fellow task members. But I thought he was a lot of fun. But other than that, and also there was a clever cameo from someone I won't reveal, but you'll find out who it is when you watch it. I was kind of like, hey, it's that person. I didn't realize they were in this movie. Yeah, but overall, that's really all I've got for the film. It's as far as movies that I've seen all year, I would probably put it as one of the best. I mean, I don't know as far as story, because I did love the story, and because it did have a lot of twists and turns that I didn't see coming a lot, especially toward the end when, not to spoil anything, but you really get on the edge of your seat, like, damn, I cannot believe that happened. So overall, I will put it on my one of the best movies I've seen all year. Probably probably like in the middle or kind of in my end of list. It's definitely probably in the top, not really top, but like kind of like in the lower five, so to speak. So I really loved it overall, and Eddie liked it too, but unfortunately he's not here to give his opinion. So he said he liked it a lot. Now my next review I would give it I give it 8.5 out of 10. Had great visual cinematography, great direction from the director of Prisoners, well acted, very great music. Story has a lot of interesting twists and turns and everything. Kind of had some pacing issues, but that's really about it. And the next film I will be reviewing will be Spectre. And unfortunately, I'm not going to probably be able to get Eddie to go with me to Tulsa to go see this in IMAX. So when I do the review, I'll either be doing the movie by myself, or if he does happen to go see it, me and he'll be seeing it separately because he's got other personal things going on. But if I do happen to do the review, I'll definitely try to get him with me to do the review with me. But um, if other than that, I'll see what's up. But anyway, I hope that everyone has a good rest of your weekend. I'll continue to try. I'm going to try to keep making my reviews more consistent. I'm sorry I have been a lot of delay with all these videos, but I promise I will. I'm going to do everything I can to make these come out as soon as possible. So until then, I hope you all have a good night and take care.